Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard Cisneros at your service. Today I'll be reading the September 14th Daily Inspirational Message, the condensed version. It's 2 paragraphs long. Then I'll center myself, say a little prayer, and then make a couple comments on the message, and I trust it will assist both of us on our journeys. Okay, here we go. The title, Choosing to No Longer House Judgmental Thoughts, paragraph 1. Today, let us take greater personal responsibility for the judgmental thoughts we are thinking about and thus housing within. After all is said and done, we are the only ones who can allow thoughts to be housed within our own minds. The thoughts that we house within end up painting the picture of the world we see. If we do not like the picture of the world we see, let us no longer blame the outer world for this. Instead, let us go within and challenge and change the thoughts that are actually coloring our experiences. Today, let us notice that the more we feed a thought with our time, focus, and energy, the larger part of our life it plays. Equally so, that exact same thought can be starved by us. We starve it of its fuel source by taking our time, focus, and energy away from it. Paragraph 2. Today, let us no longer allow judgmental thoughts to go unchallenged. Now, when a judgmental thought comes knocking on your mind's door, let us recall what investing our time, focus, and energy on such thoughts has brought us. It has brought us nothing but conflict, inner confusion, and pain. Then, let us recall that we are all God's creations, all on a perfect, individualized, and sacred path that we have co-designed with the divine. If we judge this co-creation, then we judge God as wrong. We will never attain true, lasting peace of mind as long as we're judging God as wrong. Now, when a judgmental thought tries to enter our mind's gate, let us stop it, decline its entrance, forgive it, place it in God's hands, let it go, and return to being an example to others of non-judgment and the state of peace. All right. Choosing to no longer house judgmental thoughts. Let me make about 5 points in regards to this message. First, let us remember that the thoughts we think design the lens that we see this world through. And so if your thoughts are centered on judgment, on fear, on hatred, on revenge, then obviously you're going to see a dark and desolate world. And you're going to only be in despair in that world. But you see that world of despair, of desolation, simply is created by the thoughts you thought, which is the lens that you created, and then the world you saw through. And so let us remember that it is we who are defining our experience. That's point number 1. Pay attention to the thoughts you're thinking, because that's the lens you're creating. Point number 2, if you don't like the world you're seeing, then know that you can change that world, that desolate world, that judgmental-centric, fear-based world, by simply deciding to go from the fear-based lens to a love-based lens. When you focus your thoughts on forgiveness, on compassion, on kindness, on understanding, on trusting in the divine design, on trusting in divine timing. When you focus on those thoughts, you create that lens, a love-filled lens, and that's the lens that you see the world through. And then you see a more light-filled world, a more compassionate world, a more forgiving world. All why? Because you created the lens. by choosing what thoughts you were going to think, what thoughts you were going to dedicate your time to. That's point number 2. Don't despair. You made the world you're seeing because you're defining it, and so therefore you can change that. So the change begins within you. It's within that the change begins. It's not out there. And that's good news, because if it's within you, then you have the power, not the outer world. The outer world does not have the power. And so that is point number 3. It's to remember that the power resides within us, not out there. If it was out there somewhere, then we would have no ability to change this world. But if it resides within us, if it begins and resides within us, then we have the power within us to change the world we're experiencing by simply changing the thoughts we're dedicating our time to. And so that is point number 3. Remember, the change is within, not out there. And that's the good news. Good news. Because if it's in your mind, then you can decide otherwise. You can decide to start focusing on loving, compassionate thoughts instead of judgmental and angry thoughts. Point number 4. We have been programmed by the ego to separate ourselves from our brothers and sisters so that the ego can attack them and make us believe it doesn't hurt us. But we know, we're starting to remember that we're all one. Whenever we say something mean to somebody, that sticks with us. Whenever we think judgmental thoughts, it's we who start to boil, you know? And so today, in point number 4, let us make sure to challenge our judgmental, fear-based thoughts. Challenge them. Don't just allow them to live within you, rent-free. No, whenever you're thinking judgmental, angry, fear-based thoughts about your brother or sister or even yourself, stop. Stop thinking those thoughts and remember what kind of world you want to create for yourself and therefore for those around you. And so when you're thinking judgmental thoughts about your brother or sister, you know where that takes you. It takes you to the dark and desolate world we talked about already. It takes you to a world where you can't lie your head comfortably to sleep at night because those judgmental, angry, resentful, revengeful thoughts keep popping up. No, we've already tried that. I'm sure all of us have tried that. It doesn't. It's a dead-end road. I think we all know that. And so don't just allow them to, again, live free inside of your head. No. When they come in, we say, oh, wait a second. That's not a thought that I want to design my lens with, okay? I want to see a light-filled world. Therefore, when the thought of judgment comes, you know what? I don't buy that. I'm gonna now use non-judgment. I'm now gonna use forgiveness and compassion and understanding to dismiss that thought and therefore create a more light-filled lens that I can see this world through. And so the point number 4 is to not allow those judgmental, fear-based thoughts to go unchallenged today. You recognize them, you stop them, you return to love, to who you truly are, and then you start to offer your time to that love. And that goes to point number 5, is that we're guarding our thoughts today. The time, focus, and energy that we dedicate to our thoughts, we're going to dedicate to thoughts of light, not of darkness, of love, not of fear, of compassion, not of condemnation. And so today, we're going to focus our time and energy only on creating the thoughts that will help us create and design the world we want. And so our time today is dedicated to forgiveness, to thoughts of forgiveness, to thoughts of how I can be more compassionate, how I can be more forgiving, how can I be more understanding, how can I reflect the light in me to this world, how can I be more in the moment and after the moment the aspects of love that it is requesting from me. How can I be that love to my brothers and sisters? What kind of love are they really asking for? And so today we place in point number 5 our time, focus, and energy on only loving thoughts. Only those thoughts that will create the world that we as love's creations came here to design, to create. A light-filled world, a compassionate and loving world. Because God is love in all, and that's who we in truth are. We are that love, we are that light, and all those expressions of that light. And so that's what we came here to do. If we don't do that, we'll never feel fulfilled, we'll never feel at peace, we'll never feel true joy, because we're not doing what God created us to do. When we are focusing our thoughts on love, on light, on compassion, on peace, on forgiveness, then we will feel fulfilled. Why? Because we're doing what we were created to do. We're doing what we came down here to do, to help bring light into the darkness, to help remind people that they can choose forgiveness over judgment, that they can choose compassion over condemnation, that they can choose love over fear. In every moment, in every interaction. That's what we're here for. And it all starts with the thoughts we think, and what time, focus, and energy we dedicate to those thoughts. And when those, I was going to say naughty, when those unloving thoughts come into your mind, just stop them. Don't punish yourself for having them. It's human, you know. And so just gently, okay, I'm having a judgmental thought. That's not what I'm here for. I recognize that. I place it aside. I forgive myself and that thought. And by forgiving, I return to love, to light, and then I express that light in whatever the moment or interaction or individual is asking for, in whichever way that individual is asking for. Okay, long enough, I think. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very, very much. If you can be so kind as to like, comment, or share this video, it would help with the listing process, and it might help create a more loving, thoughtful world. Again, thank you for your time. If you made it this far, I love you very much, and God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.